Hello and welcome. Let's dive right in, because today we're tackling a big one: inflammation. It's got a bit of a bad rap. We usually only think about it when a joint aches or something is swollen. But what if I told you it's also one of your body's most critical tools for healing?
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is inflammation a friend or a foe? We're so used to thinking of it as the villain, the thing we need to crush with ice packs and pills. But the real story is so much more interesting. It's actually designed to be a hero.
I want you to think of inflammation like your body's emergency cleanup crew. You get a cut, you sprain your ankle, you fight off a bug. This crew rushes to the scene. They're there to clear out damaged cells, fight off invaders, and kickstart the whole repair process. Without them, we literally couldn't heal.
But here's the twist. The problem isn't the crew showing up to do their job. The problem is when they show up and then never leave. When that emergency alarm stays on day after day, that's when our helpful friend starts to cause some serious trouble.
This slide really breaks down inflammation's split personality. Over on the left, you've got acute inflammation. That's our hero. It's sharp, it's focused, and most importantly, it has an endpoint. It does its job and goes home. But on the right, you have chronic inflammation. This is the problem. It's a low-grade, simmering fire. That on switch never fully turns off, and over time, it just wears you down.
In fact, scientists have a name for this slow burn: inflammaging. It's this quiet, low-level inflammatory hum that can build up as we get older. You don't feel it like a sprained ankle, but it's in the background, influencing your energy, your health, and basically how well you age. So, you're probably wondering, if this whole thing is so quiet, how on earth are we supposed to know what's going on inside our own bodies? Well, that's the cool part. We can look at our biology for clues. It's time to meet the key players that give us a window into our personal inflammatory story. But first, before we get into the nitty-gritty, you have to get this concept. This is so important. Your genes are not your destiny. They're not a broken on-off switch you're stuck with. A much better way to think about them is like a volume knob. Your genes might set a certain tendency, but it's your lifestyle that turns that volume up or down. You're the one in control of the dial. All right, first up is interleukin-6, or just IL-6. This little guy is a messenger molecule. Think of it as one of the first responders yelling, "Hey, we've got a problem over here." It's absolutely essential for kicking off that cleanup process, but you guessed it, when it's yelling all the time, that's a classic sign of chronic inflammation. Next, we've got TNF-α. This is another one of those messenger molecules, a cytokine, and it is a powerhouse. It's a major player in mobilizing your body's defenses. But because it's so powerful, when it stays elevated for too long, it can be really hard on your tissues. It's like having a SWAT team on patrol 24/7. And finally, let's talk about CRP. Now, CRP's a little different. It's not one of the messengers shouting orders. Instead, it's a protein your liver makes in response to all that shouting. This makes it an amazing general marker. It's like a single, easy-to-track number from a blood test that gives you a snapshot of the overall inflammation level in your body. Okay, so we've met the players. Now for the most important part. What in the world do we do about it? Because understanding all this isn't about getting scared, it's about getting empowered. So let's build our plan, starting with what I call the universal toolkit. These are strategies that are proven to work for pretty much everyone. And of course, we're going to start with food. This is the all-star lineup right here. Omega-3s from fatty fish are a super reliable way to turn down the heat. Turmeric, or really its active compound curcumin, is a powerhouse. Even simple kitchen staples like garlic have shown consistent benefits in studies. And the foundation of it all, packing your diet with colorful plants. Berries, green tea, leafy greens, they're all loaded with these amazing compounds called polyphenols. So once you have that universal foundation in place, we can start to fine-tune. This is where we come back to that awesome volume knob idea. Knowing your own genetic predispositions helps you figure out which strategies from that toolkit are going to give you the most bang for your buck. Think of this chart as your personal decoder ring. It connects the dots for you. So if your genes suggest your IL-6 tends to run a little high, you can just look across that row and see, okay, my priorities are omega-3s, fiber, and polyphenols. It's not about a totally different diet, it's all about smart, strategic emphasis. So let's make this super practical. Let's say your genetic insights point toward that IL-6 pathway. Your main goal, your whole strategy, is about lowering the overall background static or irritation in your system. It's about creating a more calm and balanced internal environment.
So here's your IL-6 action plan. Number 1, make omega-3s your best friend. Get that fatty fish in regularly. Number 2, double down on fiber. All those legumes, oats, and veggies feed your good gut bugs, which in turn produce compounds that cool inflammation. And number 3, which is huge, is to lock in your sleep. Consistency here is maybe the most powerful anti-inflammatory tool you have.
Okay, but what if your genes suggest a more reactive TNF-alpha system? The strategy shifts just a little. Here, the name of the game is lowering the day-to-day friction, all the little things that can poke the bear and keep that powerful signal on high alert.
For this action plan, you'd want to really focus on fat quality, swapping out those highly processed vegetable oils for things like olive oil and avocado. Then, make colorful plants non-negotiable and really lean into things like garlic, herbs, and spices. And finally, get some strength training in. Active muscles actually release their own anti-inflammatory molecules that can directly counteract TNF-alpha. How cool is that?
And finally, what if your lab work shows your CRP just tends to hang out on the higher side? Well, remember, CRP is the scorecard. It's the readout. So your strategy is beautifully simple. You go after the biggest, most common things that drive inflammation up for almost everybody.
And that plan is all about consistency. Step 1, just focus on whole, minimally processed foods as much as possible. Step 2, and this is a big one, cut way back on sugary drinks and snacks. The blood sugar roller coaster they create is a direct trigger for higher CRP. And step 3, make daily movement a non-negotiable. Even a simple walk after dinner can work wonders for your blood sugar and, in turn, your CRP. So, we've gone through all of this. The science, the genes, the custom plans. What is the one single idea I want you to walk away with? It's right here. Your daily lifestyle choices are, without a doubt, your greatest superpower. I want to end with this quote because it just says it all. Lifestyle often dominates. That is not discouraging. It means you have leverage. Knowing your genes isn't meant to be a life sentence. It's meant to show you where you have the most leverage, where your efforts will make the biggest difference. You hold the power.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Looking at everything we've talked about, what is your one small, repeatable choice? The one thing you can start doing today? It doesn't have to be a massive overhaul, just one small, consistent choice. Because that's where the magic happens. Thanks for tuning in.